Wet brine or dry brine? Today we're going to find out the most superior way to make smoked turkey breast. For our experiment today, my turkey breasts are weighing in at 2.67 and 2.6 pounds. And the reason these are a little bit smaller than I would typically make is because we did want them very similar in size for this experiment. We feel like if they're similar in size, that's going to get us much better results, especially when we're trying to compare the two. For our wet brine, we're going to start with 3 bottles of water. You can absolutely use tap water if you want. We've gotten roasted for using the bottles of water before, but it just makes it really easy and measurement is always going to be the same. Now I've got half a cup of light brown sugar and half a cup of kosher salt. I'm just going to mix everything up. And the reason that this brine is so basic is because we're only going to be doing salt on our turkey breast for the dry brine. We didn't want to amp this up with trifecta and make it an unfair advantage because we do think that that would obviously taste a little bit better. So we wanted to keep this very basic on both of these brines. Now I'm going to drop my turkey breast in. And we like to use this Briner Junior because I can keep that turkey breast fully submerged. This is going to go into the refrigerator for the next 24 hours. For our second turkey breast and the dry brine, I'm going to go ahead and take off this skin because we are going to be doing boneless, skinless turkeys today. And then we're just going to go all over top of this turkey breast with some kosher salt. So I'm going to make sure to get a pretty decent coating. Then we want to flip this over and get the top side. Now the reason we decided to brine these today is to test the results and see which one is going to be better. The wet brine should bring some moisture retention, some flavor deep into that turkey breast, and also help with the texture. The difference on the dry brine is going to be that we use salt only. That's supposed to penetrate deeply into that breast, pull out moisture, and then allow that moisture to reabsorb back into the turkey breast. That's going to have a really good deep flavor. It's a little bit more convenient than adding all the liquids and having the different ingredients. And it's also supposed to help with the texture on this turkey breast. Tomorrow, once we cook and finish these results, we'll find out what's better. It's 24 hours later. We've taken our 2 turkey breasts out. The first one we're going to show you is the dry brine, and I do want to show you some visual differences. So this is going to be a darker red color. You're going to notice that there's no salt at all. Don't forget, the point of the salt was to penetrate deeply into that turkey breast, pull out some moisture, and then this turkey breast is going to reabsorb the moisture that was pulled out. That's going to make for a juicier and a more tender and a flavorful turkey breast. Now for the turkey breast that we did a wet brine with, we bring it out and obviously we still have to remove this skin. I didn't remove the skin yesterday just because I felt like it was easier to drop it in the brine with it, but I will always remove the skin. I've had people tell me to cook it with the skin on, and I understand what you're trying to say, but the way these turkey breasts cook, especially for a very short period of time, it's very, very hard to render the fat under the skin and get it to where it's crispy rather than extremely chewy. We found that it makes the turkey breast a little bit undesirable. We're still working on trying to figure out a way to make it really good. We just haven't done it yet. On your left side, you guys are going to see the wet brine turkey breast, and on the right side, you're going to see the dry brined turkey breast. I hope it comes through on camera because I can tell you there are some very noticeable differences. So the wet brine turkey breast looks a little bit glossier, but over here on this dry brine, it almost looks as if it started to go into like some sort of a jerky process, right? It looks a little bit tougher on the skin. It feels a little bit harder. I'm not necessarily sure if that's going to be a good or a bad thing, but that's exactly why we're doing this experiment. What we're going to do next is we're going to season these up and get them ready to go out onto the smoker. Because we use salt in the dry brine and the wet brine, we want to make sure not to add any more salt to the top of this turkey breast. So today we're going to be using our Southern Hospitality. It's a brown sugar based rub. It's going to have those sweet notes to it, and we love it on turkey breast. So if you guys are going to be doing an experiment like this, I definitely recommend don't put a salty rub at this point because we've already dry brined and wet brined in salt for 24 hours. I always like to start on the back side because the top side is my presentation. I do want a pretty looking turkey breast. We're going to get Southern Hospitality all on the back side. One of the good things about this rub is that beautiful red color that's going to come through. That's exactly what makes Southern Hospitality one of my favorite rubs of all time. Now we'll flip it over. And we'll do the same exact thing to the top side. Now, because this little end over here is really thin, I always like to tuck it under on this turkey breast just to make sure everything's a little bit even. I do it on both of these. And this is how we'll set this on the smoker. If your fingerprints got anywhere on the top of the turkey breast, now's a really good time to reapply. Make sure everything looks really good. You don't have to do much. And now we should be good to go. Today we're going to be cooking these 2 turkey breasts on our Weber Smoky Mountain, but the most important thing is to make sure that we cook both of these turkey breasts absolutely perfectly. For poultry, internal temps are very important. If you have it at target temperature, you definitely don't want to go over it. So today we're going to be using our Temp Spike Pro. This is a product that we've been testing for about 2 months now before we felt comfortable enough to bring it to you guys and let you know that we really enjoy it. But this is a great product that's going to help us make sure that we do not overcook our turkey breasts. What I'm going to do is get my Temp Spike and put it into the deepest part of this turkey breast on both of them. And the cool thing about it is you can use the monitor that's on the actual Temp Spike itself, but on your phone it'll also show you internal temperatures and ambient temperatures. The other cool thing about the Temp Spike Pro is you can start off with the 1 probe and you can expand all the way up to 4. So if you want to start with 1 or you just want to have 2, you can snap these in. You can take these off. It works extremely easily. I've played with this a lot and I actually think that this is a really cool tool. Now onto our 300-degree Weber Smoky Mountain, we're going to put both of our turkey breasts on. And now we're just going to let this turkey breast do what it does. We're going to monitor the temps on the Temp Spike Pro, and this is just going to be a very simple cook. And just to make this even more convenient, you can click the custom food setting. What I'm going to do is I'm going to type in turkey breast. My target temperature today is going to be 150 degrees, and I'll click the little poultry icon and we'll click save, and that is going to apply that target temperature and that custom food setting for my black probe. That's the one that's in one of those turkey breasts. And now that I've saved that setting, I can do the same exact thing to the white probe. Click OK, continue, and we're good to go. So we have 2 target temperatures of 150 degrees. It's showing the ambient temperature inside the cooker, so we're around 300 degrees. Everything is going perfect. All I have to do is watch my 2 probes and everything should be fine. If you guys are interested in trying the Temp Spike out for yourself, you can get the 1 probe Temp Spike Pro and the Lightning for free. There will be a link in the description. It's been right at around 54 minutes on our turkey breast smoke, and I wanted to show you guys something else that was really cool about the Temp Spike. So if you look here, you'll see that internal right now is 126 and rising, and we have an estimated time of 18 minutes and 23 seconds, and it's going down and up kind of based off of how things are going. But we have an ambient temperature still of around 300 degrees, which is perfect for our cook, and we've been able to maintain those temps this whole time. We haven't even looked at the turkey breast. That's one of those things everyone always says, if you're looking, you ain't cooking. I kind of don't really fully believe that. I like to rotate grates. I like to make sure everything is looking really nice, and I do like to apply spritz if needed. But with turkey breasts, they're so simple. You don't need to do any of that. The Temp Spike really does make it extremely easy. I just got an alert on my phone that's telling me my white probe is at 150 degrees, so let's go ahead and take this turkey breast off. Now I'm just going to go ahead and put this turkey breast right over top of 1 stick of butter. All I did was cut this lengthwise. That's why it looks like it's more than 1 stick, but it's only 1 stick. I want some honey on top of my turkey breast, so we're just going to go right over top with some honey, and then we'll go ahead and wrap everything up. Now this is just going to rest on the counter for 1 full hour. This is not going into anything warmed. It's just going to sit at room temperature. After an hour, it'll be ready to slice. Now my black probe just told me that we're 150 degrees, but I want to double check with my Lightning. And you can see I'm right at 150.1, 149. Perfect. I wanted to get this probe as close as I can to that Temp Spike just so we can make sure that we're getting accurate readings. We're going to do the same exact thing. We'll take our Temp Spike out, place this over top of 1 stick of butter. We'll add a little more honey, and then we're going to wrap this up. We're going to do the same exact thing with this one. It's going to rest on the counter for 1 full hour before we slice it. Now this was my dry brine. The last one was my wet brine. We are going to compare these side by side to see if we could tell a difference. After a 1 hour rest, we're inside and it's time to slice up our turkey breast and see if we find a difference between the dry brine and the wet brine. We're going to start with the dry brine, but we're not going to taste anything until we cut them both up so we can see them side by side. We've got a really beautiful color on this specific turkey breast. I know the other one looks just as good. Let's go ahead and slice this up. One of the things that people often don't talk about when it comes to poultry in general is still slicing against the grain. I can see the grain here is running this way, and I do want to slice it against to make sure I get a really nice and tender bite. So my first cut is always going to be just a little bit off the edge. I'm just going to pull a piece right out of the middle real quick while we're in the middle of slicing. You can see that this is fully cooked. If I take my fingers and I kind of start folding this breast over, you can see that it breaks really easily. That right there is exactly why you want to make sure you cut against the grain. It shortens up those muscle fibers and makes for a much more tender bite. Now this is going to be my wet brine turkey breast. We're going to do the same exact thing with this one, and we'll start slicing it up. We're going to do the same exact thing out of this one. We're going to grab a slice right out of the middle. You can see the turkey breast is fully cooked. And again, if I get this, start folding it over, you can see those muscle fibers are tearing, full of moisture, glistening all the way through. I would say this is a perfectly cooked turkey breast. The turkey breasts both look incredible, but now it's time to take a bite and see how the taste and the texture are doing after our 24-hour brine. First up, we're going to go for a bite on our salt brine turkey breast. We put kosher salt on this for 24 hours. Let's see how it came out. I've said it once, I'll say it 1,000 times. Turkey breast is 100% my favorite protein to smoke and eat right now. Just an incredible flavor. The texture on this is beyond perfect. I will say it is a little bit salty. We did put that kosher salt all over, but the texture is perfect. The moisture retention is there, and this is out of this world. If you don't mind a little bit salty, I definitely think that this would be a great option, but you can see how nice and tender it pulls apart really, really easily, and this turkey breast is just incredible. I don't think there's a bad way that you can make this, especially with all the flavors that you can throw on this, but something really, really simple, Southern hospitality, a little butter, a little honey will go a long way. Now for the turkey breast that was brined for 24 hours with salt, brown sugar, and water. We kept it very simple. We didn't want to overpower it or overdo it. So let's see how this turned out. Oh yeah, without a doubt, this is better. And it was pretty simple. As soon as my tongue hit the turkey breast, I could tell that it wasn't going to be as salty. There's still plenty of moisture retention, and the tenderness is 100% there. This turkey breast right here is exactly how you need to do it. We were a little bit worried that 24 hours would be too much on both of these brines. I would say even for the salt one, it wasn't too much, but it is a little bit saltier than I would have expected. I would maybe add a little bit more honey, or maybe I would put a different rub that's just even a little bit sweeter than Southern Hospitality. Even though Southern Hospitality is very sweet, maybe something with maple, maybe something with honey on top would work really well here. But overall, the liquid brine turkey breast is hands down better. Again, you could see that they were both cooked perfectly thanks to my temp spike, but these are both a really, really great turkey breast. You can try both of them at your house and see which one you like more. We've been doing a lot of turkey breasts. Somebody suggested this video to us, so we wanted to make it happen. If you guys have any other suggestions on what we should make or how we should make it, drop them in the comments down below. Turkey breast is in season all year long. Which way are you going to try? Salt brined or wet brined? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, we really appreciate you guys tuning into this video. Thanks, and we'll see you on the next one. It was easy. For me, it was easy. Liquid brined, 100% better.